That's right, your boy got a sponsorship. I mean, okay, it's not actually that rare that I get approached for sponsorship opportunities, but as you know, and as those very nice marketing people soon learn, the fact is that I only endorse products that I actually use and like. So when Campfire hit me up, I was in a bit of a weird spot because I had heard of it, I had heard good things about it from other people who had used it. I'd been meaning to eventually get around to testing it myself. It's just that I never actually got around to it. And they were like, well then, I just have one and check it out. So I did, and I gotta say that I do really like it. Thus far, I have always been in the just using various folders in your Dropbox and or Google Drive with text documents in them gang of world building. And to a certain extent, I will remain that way simply because I'm lazy. Because, you know, the nice thing about doing that ultimately is that you have a lot of control. No matter what you're doing background work for like world building or a novel or a series of novels, depending on the kind of project that you are running, you will need to focus on different things. So say you are working on a sci-fi novel focused on the exploration of an alien world, you'll probably want to go into a lot of detail about the ecosphere of that world, the tree of life, the biomes that exist, the creatures that run around there. But if you're doing like an epic fantasy book with like a badass and complex magic system, you don't care about like the complexity of the ecology of the world that much necessarily, so you don't want it taking up that much space. Now, the reason that I was never really able to get fully into all these neat world building apps that are out there is because they just offer you all of the functionality. They just have these sheets and all the boxes, and you want to be filling something into those boxes because they will feel empty if you don't do that. And that just really puts a lot of pressure on you to work on parts of your world that you don't really want to work on because they put a box in there and it's empty, and the fact that it's empty makes you want to fill it even though it really doesn't do anything for your project. Now, Campfire does have all of that functionality, however, it doesn't shove the fact that your world building could be a lot more detailed in your face all of the time, and I think that's kind of neat. Instead, it uses templates that can be customized and tailored to whatever specific thing that you are doing, so you can focus on whatever aspects of whatever elements you have in that project that are actually important to that project. Instead of going for the one-size-fits-all approach, they give you the ability to make your own sizes. And it does come with like default pre-made templates if you just want to get into it, but the more you do, the more you will get to understand what is actually important about the world and the story, and then you will just very easily be able to customize it to your needs. Which is great because it's very easy to do, and it's incredibly flexible in a way that there's almost no rules. I feel like there might be a bit of a learning curve, but that might just be me being stupid because it's just super intuitive. Like, at any point where I thought, oh, I wonder if I can do this in this app, the very first approach that I tried to do that thing has always worked. Which, I mean, considering just how many customization options you have, that is impressive. And once you get a grip of the basics, you'll just be doing a lot of complicated things very easily. And what I really like about Campfire, which is something that's actually very important to me, is that it doesn't get in the way of you doing your creative work. It just gives you help when you need it. You can do character arcs and plot arcs of your story independently, link them up, incorporate them with each other, reference them, create complex relationship webs between characters and organizations, and you can just do an unlimited amount of any of these and put all of the things in there that you think are important in this situation. You can annotate maps that you've made, which I find very convenient because I sometimes change my mind about major things. Then you have the world building pack, which comes just with its own set of new templates, although frankly, they're so complex and so helpful, you should really be calling them tools. The coolest thing that I've seen in there is like a language builder, which I will never use ever, because I'm not a Conlang guy, but knowing a bunch of Conlang guys, I see that it takes a lot of the legwork away from the, you know, the clerical, let's put the right things in the right boxes. And I mean, getting rid of the legwork in general is something that Campfire is just very good at. And all of the tools and templates that you get, you can just misappropriate to do other things with them. And the program will always support you in that. I like to take the relationship plotter and use it to make decision maps for like tabletop dungeons. And it just doesn't care. It never intrudes upon my process in that. I mean, it's probably not self-aware, but if it was, it would say, okay, you are just completely using that in a different way than it was intended, but that's fine. Although, like, to be fair, right, we've all just been misappropriating software for doing world building before all of these neat apps came out. Like, have you ever built, like, a dungeon map in Excel? It's the worst, but it works. They just kind of let me loose on the apps, like, go play. And it's been great because pretty much every time I boot up the app and just play around with it a little bit, trying to do something, there's always some new feature that I discover where I go, oh, this could be like super useful in this and that situation. Like it can always be slotted into some part of the process. And that's really neat. Like just the other day, I found out by accident that there's different themes that you can change the appearance with of the app. Which is great because I could get into a very neutral theme, but there's also very atmospheric ones if that's more like what you're into, it's just that I'm not. Oh, and did I mention that this is a desktop app? That's right, this isn't just some like nebulous thing that exists in the internet. This is something that you put on your computer, and it does offer options for cloud storage, obviously, but otherwise it's just there on your machine, which I massively appreciate. Not only does it just feel smoother to do everything, because in the internet, you know, there's a back and forth, a minimal, it has to go halfway around the world. There's none of this with that. It's just all on your desktop. And to me, at least, it feels like I'm just sitting in my workshop doing work on something important, as opposed to like being out there. It always feels a little exposed when I write something on the internet. Maybe that is just me though, I like desktop apps a lot. You can, in the link in the description, you can get to their storefront, check out their product. It's also on Steam, and you don't even have to take my word for any of this, so the last few minutes have been wasted, because they'll just give you a free trial. But then it's not even a subscription model, it's you pay them once, and then you just have it. Personally, I'm gonna be using it for at least a couple projects that I originally just put in as like a test. I had these like vague things or some more detailed things in my head and on various other files on my hard drive, and I put them in there and I liked it so much that I am now actually going to seriously use that software. Not sure if I'm gonna be putting in like many of my really big older projects out of sheer laziness, right? Because so many things, especially like timelines, I always had a difficult time with those. They have a great timeline feature on Campfire, but it just would be a lot of work for me, although ultimately it would end up saving me a lot of hassle. I'm gonna get back to you on that. It's nice to know that I have the option, which also I'm really excited because they're always working on new cool stuff to put into the whole Campfire toolbox. And if it holds up to the same level of quality that the current things are at, I very much look forward to seeing that stuff. So yeah, if you're a writer, a GM, just a for fun world builder, if you are any of these things, if you are all of these things, hell, even if you are none of these things, check the link in the description, give this thing a try. You will probably like it. If our tastes are in any way similar, you will like it. Thank you very much for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe, share this to your relevant communities, but do not spam them. This is really... this is like a sponsored video. Does it work the same way with doing the outro? Because I feel kind of uncomfortable shilling my Patreon on this, although I will put the patron slides in the end, because they also helped support making this video. Yeah, and in that spirit, seriously, go check out Campfire. Just maybe if this is the first program you use ever, you've never done any world building, you have a new hobby now that will consume all of your free time because it's so fun. But I'm just saying. And see you around, cunts.